Hi, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Cafecito. I'm your host, Christiana. So excited to be with you yet again. We are all about everyday people doing extraordinary things, and today is no different. Shout out to our sponsor, We the Plug, for giving us an opportunity to air such a wonderful program to bring you amazing people in this space. Today is no different. We have an amazing young man that is going to share with us his journey of being in the tech space. He's going to talk a little bit about what he does in that space, how he got in it, what his call to action is, and how you yourself can look at getting into that space as well. So without further ado, I'd like you all to meet Danny. Welcome, Danny.
Thank you. Thank you, Christiana.
How is your day going so far?
It's going good. Going good. Can't complain.
I know, right? Just before we got started, it is January. So this probably will air in January, but more than likely February. But it's crazy Santa Ana like winds here in California. So we were chatting about that. And then I just realized this is all about the cafecito. And yet I don't have my cafecito with me. So I am sorry. Do you
Gotta
at least
change
have
that.
cafecito with you?
I finished mine earlier. I
You
got
finished yours already?
water.
Okay. Very good. Well, welcome. I'm so excited to be connecting with you in this brand new year of 2021. How are things going for you?
It's going good so far. I think I like to say that 2020 gave us a low bar to beat. So it can only be uphill from here. But yeah, it's going good so far.
Fantastic. I like that 2020 gave us a little, 2020 threw us for a hard loop, and it was like, what do we do from here? Yeah, it's interesting. But so why don't you tell the people who you are and what you do?
Yeah. So I'm in information security in the tech space. So it's some people refer to it as cybersecurity. And
Mhm.
been doing it for about 3.5 years. And yeah, the essence of it is protecting networks and data for users, for company assets, and just defending, responding to any intrusions, and preventing those whenever we can.
So you know what I think whenever I think about the work that you do, I think about like you're the internet police, like but or it's like you're the armed forces for the companies that are their businesses on the internet, in that you help to protect not only the company's interests, but also those customers. So, like my interests, right? As a customer, paying customer, you help to ensure that our information is protected and not distributed and compromised.
Yeah.
Interesting. So, how did you get into this space of? I mean, there's so many. Let me just say this. Whenever we think about tech, oftentimes the cool thing is coding. Everybody's talking about coding nowadays, coding this, coding this.
Yeah.
And so, when you first started looking at this opportunity of moving in this tech space, one, was this always something you wanted to do? And two, were you like inundated with go into coding, go into coding?
Yeah. Yeah. I wouldn't say that it was always something that I wanted to do. I started paying attention
Oh,
to it in high school. I saw kind of just the way things were going, and then my first class in high school that kind of talked anything about computers. I was really interested, and it intrigued me, and I saw it as something that was going to keep going
mm-hmm.
in an uptrend, and it really just interested me. But after high school, I worked in various other fields. I worked in a little bit in finance, in electrical, which is very different from tech.
Wow.
Um, but I never really left the back of my mind the interest that I had in tech. And then, like you said, many people they if you ask them, they would recommend to go into coding, and that's like the thing that you'll find in any online search.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I just kept reading on security, cybersecurity, information security. And I saw the more that we went online as humanity, as people, that part wasn't going to go away. And it was just something that never left my interest. Even if I was doing something else at the time, it was always something that I wanted to do from that time on.
So you said something that is really interesting. I want to explore a little bit that you, before getting into this space, you were in finance and then you were doing electrical work.
Yeah.
And so when I think about tech, the first thing I think about is, oh, you went to school for this. Oh, you know, studied for years doing this. And so that's why you're in this space. But it doesn't sound like that was your pathway.
No, it wasn't. So when I was doing electrical, I actually started off doing more like manual labor, and I
Uh-huh.
worked my way into it was like installing panels for residential, then some commercial,
Uh-huh.
and yeah, I was working there, and even though I liked what I did, I knew it wasn't something that I wanted to continue doing
Mhm.
long term, and I just kept from that point on. I kind of just started doing things on my own, build like a minimal viable home lab, and started testing things, started practicing what I would read.
Mhm.
And then from there, I heard of a program called Year Up, which is about a little less than a year.
Mhm.
And what it is, it's some training in the classroom. And then if you make it past that like selective process, you get an internship.
Mhm.
And that's basically a chance to like get your name on in front of some people and see if it's something that you can see yourself doing going forward. And that was my initial foot in the door, and I knew that that's what I wanted to do.
So for you, you understood that what you were currently doing was something you enjoyed, but you had like a larger goal that you wanted to reach.
Yeah.
And so what I hear from you is that you kind of sat down and mapped out a plan for yourself on what you wanted to do. How did you decide that that was the way you wanted to go? Had you done research? Had you like talked to people? Like,
Yeah.
talk to me about that.
Yeah, I did a lot of research. I've always been like very when I get curious about something,
Mhm.
I'll just dive in and go down rabbit holes. So
Yeah.
when I was interested in security, that's what I would do. I would just read everything that I could, research, and I knew a couple people that worked in tech, none in cybersecurity, but I saw that they liked what they did, and
Mhm.
I saw myself potentially liking that as well. So I knew that I needed to give it a shot, and even though
Mm.
I had what a lot of people would call a stable job, I knew that this is the path that I wanted to go to.
Wow. So it was really good that you had these people around you. Have you always had kind of or been intentional about the people that you surround yourself around?
I try to be, yeah,
Uh-huh.
in terms of like, yeah, like you said, surrounding yourself with good people, and even if it's just getting a second opinion on something, like this is what I'm thinking. What are your thoughts on it? And that normally does a great has a great impact on decision.
Yeah, I would agree with you. I know that for me, everything that I've done in my career, and not just in my career, in my personal life as well, I've always sought out those that had either similar um, backgrounds that I was looking to go in, or the exact same background I was looking to go in, and or I just respected their um, pathway of how they maneuvered in life and thought there's someone I can go to
Mhm.
help give me guidance. And yeah, and I think what we're talking about is not too different than mentorship, right? Or coaching. I mean, talk to me a little bit about the importance of having a mentor or coach in your life.
Yeah, I think that's really important. Like I think about when I was doing electrical and my previous job before that, it was kind of, it's very independent, which is something that I can do, but
Mhm.
you'll see the difference once you have somebody to have another thought on what you're going to do, or have something that you can run by them. That just goes a long way. And I saw that in the tech space, that it's very open to that,
Mhm.
and that's how a lot of people just continue to progress, because they have people that they can bounce ideas off of and seek guidance from. So I think that's really big.
Yeah, I agree with you wholeheartedly. And in talking about that, something that we have talked about in several conversations prior, that the importance of representation. You're Latino male, and do you, how important was it for you to have the representation of a Latino male in this space and see more Latinos in the space? Talk to me a little bit about that, because I know we talked about that.
Yeah, that's really important to me, because, like you
Mhm.
said, it's not really something that is seen too much. It's getting
Mhm.
better, but
Yeah.
we still have progress to make.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, when I went into my internship, I was the only Latino there, and I was excited for the opportunity, but that was on my mind, that that needed to change. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's definitely something that I'm excited to help out and
Yeah.
continue to see.
Yeah. I know that, when we were talking about, did we connect on the Latinx Fest?
Yeah, that was it.
Yeah, I thought so. So you all may not, well, if you watch previous Cafecitos, then you know that there are other guests that I've connected with off this summit that
Mhm.
happened last year. It was called Latinx Fest, LTX Fest. If you put that in, you can Google it. And it's been happening, I think, for the last 3 or 4 years, something like that. Last year was the first year I had ever heard about it, and I had messaged them because I was so impressed with the work that they were doing to help amplify the voice of the Latino community in the tech and startup space. And they had a, was it 2 day? I think it was a 2 day event,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
Yeah, that we attended. And so the whole point with my attendance is that I have been a lifelong advocate of the Latino community by way of family or friends, or just me just loving the community.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I've recognized is when I got into the startup space, our our presence as Pan African and Latino people or Latinx people was missing in high numbers. So with We the Plug, that's part of our mission and vision. That's the largest part of our mission and vision. And so, it just makes sense that we are pushing that narrative to change
Mhm.
across the board. So not just as founders and in the startup space, but also those that are working in the tech space as well, that we want to see more Latino men and women in that space. Afro Latino, of course, as well. So the currently you're working in this cyber, I call it cyber tech security world, fighting the good fight, protecting us. But are you able to tell us exactly what that day to day looks like? For someone who may be listening to this and they're like, oh, I thought coding was my only option. Well, what would I do? What would a day look like for someone in this space if they wanted to go?
Yeah, it can vary greatly, but I would say the day to day can look like basically looking at a lot of data, uh,
Mhm.
called we call them logs, but basically it could be network logs, endpoint, which is like laptop servers, and
Mhm.
then nowadays everything's kind of on the cloud.
It's true.
Logs that come from those providers, and you basically have some, we it's called alerts, So when something deviates from the normal, you'll get an alert and look into it to see what the data is telling you, if it's something suspicious or if it's something worse than that, and then confirm those findings, remediation if it's needed on whatever endpoint that is or device. Something else that could come into your day-to-day can be advising on a project for a partner team. Maybe they're onboarding a new piece of software, a new tool, and you're there as an advisor to see what are the potential gaps, what can be missing to properly onboard that and in a secure way. So that's some of the of the essence of it. Right now, where I'm at, we're a pretty small team, so it's like a bit of everything. But yeah, it's definitely no shortage of fun.
Wow. So then you are working individually, but you're working collectively with a team in order
Yeah.
to address. Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. So then, you had mentioned earlier that you had you had found out about a program. What is the name of the program again?
Europe. So it's
Ye-
like the like a year up.
Oh, year up,
Yeah.
like literally like a
Yeah.
year, like year up. Okay,
Yeah.
so year up. And are they still in
Yeah.
operation? Okay, even
Yeah,
though
they are.
we're in this weird COVID,
Yeah.
post-COVID, not really kind of situation. Okay, I didn't know if things had changed. And so anyone who's listening, how would they go about learning more about Year Up?
Yeah, I can share some information. One the one I went to was Europe Bay Area, but they have locations all over. Um, they do have one in Southern Cal. They have New York, Boston, and others. But yeah, basically it's about a year of a program, and after you apply, after somebody's accepted, they have classroom training and an internship, and they have a lot of partners that get your foot in the door, basically, from having your resume in front of some people, and potentially get your name into another company. So it can be a very good stepping stone for somebody looking to get into tech.
Okay, so then, and is this paid? Do you have to pay out of pocket for this program?
No, so what is great about this program is that it's they classify it as a training program more so than a school. So it has no upfront costs to students, and they even give a stipend for like commuting costs back when we would commute.
I know, back in the olden days of
Yeah,
2019 and early 2020. So
yeah, and that helped me out since I was commuting about an hour to San Francisco, and that basically is like a help, so you can focus on that, since it's about a full-time commitment for those 10-11 months.
wow. And so once you're done with those 10, 11 months, then you're immediately put in to an internship paid program. So you're not paid
Yeah.
while you're in the program.
No, it's the stipend that that's basically what the help is, for the financial aid is. But
Oh, okay.
yeah, but the internship is actually part of that time allotment.
Oh,
So
okay. So
yeah.
you're working while you're going through the program. You have
Yeah.
income coming in while you're going through the program. And when you complete your 11 months in the
Yeah.
program, then you're still working, and maybe with that same company that you were interning with, or maybe a new
Yeah.
one.
Yeah. So the class that I was in, we were about, can't remember if we were around 80 students, 90 students,
Okay.
and close to 40% were converted to positions from with their internship companies.
Wow. That's really high. That's awesome.
Yeah, it
So
was a really good opportunity.
yeah. So then this is a US company. So anyone listening understand that this company is based in the US, and so there's more than likely requirements that you have to meet in order to apply, and probably one of them is you have to be in the US, I would assume.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not sure if Europe's expanding beyond that, but yeah, that's my understanding.
Okay. So we'll put all the information down for you all to review and get all the details. But so for anyone that's listening, it and they're at that kind of really pivotal road of which direction do I go? I'm looking to go into the tech space. I'm like you, transitioning out of a non-tech background, but I'm wanting to move into a tech background. But I just keep getting either these large numbers thrown at me that I have to pay out of pocket first,
Yeah.
or these kind of scary stories about not finding a job or not, you know, being able to operate at that skill set that you've gone to school for because nothing is available. So you have to do kind of whatever is available to you when it's available. What would you say to those people that just may be just either scared to move forward or unsure?
Yeah, I would say basically how much do you believe in yourself and in your work ethic and what you can get done? Because like you said, there are factors out there like cost and possibly time that are beyond our control.
Mhm.
But I mean, I didn't go to years and years of school. Um, I did that program and then a lot of like self-learning and talking to people. And I think in today's day and age, we can definitely leverage that, just our look at our circle, but also just ask people if they know anybody in the space. And then that can be the jumping point for us. So I would say if somebody is thinking about getting into tech but they're unsure, definitely definitely I would say just go for it. And there's a lot of resources nowadays that don't always require you to sacrifice years and years in schooling.
Yeah.
So that's definitely something that people should try to do if it's really something that they want to do.
Yeah, no, I agree with you with everything that you're saying because it does require a lot of courage to take that first leap, but it
Yeah.
definitely to sustain it requires tenacity, requires determination, grit.
Mhm.
Um, you have to be willing to push to overcome. And we know we have it in us, right? It's just tapping into it, you know.
Yeah.
So when you were sharing, the next thought that came to mind was, and we again had talked a little bit about this, is mentorship. And you yourself was saying that you're open to connect with people so they can best understand what
Definitely.
this world was like. Um so when someone is okay, I'm not sure what I want to do, just reach out to you.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Yeah. I'm Danny Zendajas at LinkedIn. So definitely they can reach out. And I'm working on a website to help people in terms of resources
Uh-huh.
on how to get into tech, and also for like early professionals, because I think there's some resources out there for people looking to make the change, but sometimes we forget about those that maybe a couple years in or very early in, and they just need to know what's next.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So, in order to stay connected to Danny and learn more about all that he's working on, because that's where I wanted to go with this, because I'm like, I know he has some things in the wheels that he's working on. Definitely, and we'll put all this information in the comments below. But definitely stay connected with him on LinkedIn. You can connect with him with us with We the Plug. But again, we want to ensure that as we're moving through this next decade, that we recognize that there is no limit. The sky is not the limit. There is no limit to what we can do. It's all in our mind, and that there are opportunities available to us and people that are willing to help support And with what you're doing, Danny, is incredible. And I just want to say thank you for taking out the time with talking with us today and sharing your journey with us, and also giving opportunity for those to connect with you directly, because I know there's a lot on your plate that you're working on. And so to take time out to say, I'm willing to help those that are coming up behind me, or who may already be ahead of me, but
Yeah.
they may be interested in what I'm doing and maybe wanting to partner. Again, I think that's what this is all about. We cannot do this work by ourselves. This is not the design, is to do it alone. And so if we want to truly change the landscape and how our voices are heard as a people, as a community, and our impact is felt, I
Yeah.
think it starts with us taking the initiative to take charge of that, as opposed to waiting for someone else to do it. But definitely partnering together to do it.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. And that's what I like about We the Plug, extraordinary people doing, just these amazing things.
Yeah.
That's something that's very big, because I
Yeah.
mean, we're all just regular people, but like you said, together we can do a lot.
I agree. I agree. And to see ourselves as not enemies of one another. Like we're not competitive. That's the word I was trying to think of. Not enemies. My good. See, I keep thinking about you guys are fighting. I mean, I need to change that. I mean, you are, but but that we're not competing against each other. So yeah. Well, again, I want to thank you for taking out the time to speak with us today and sharing your heart and your journey. And we're excited about what you're working on next. Is there any request that you have to those that may be listening and thinking to themselves, what you're building in your app sounds really interesting. I may want to be a part of that. Would they just also connect with you on LinkedIn and then just
Yeah.
reference? Okay.
Yeah, that would be great. Also on We the Plug, that works.
Yeah, exactly. Also, yes, definitely connect with him on We the Plug Network. The other question I had for you, Danny, is what is it, as you're building out this app, what is it that you need help with so that we can kind of help support in that area as well?
Yeah, I think of all things tech involved, I think the marketing standpoint is probably not not one of my strengths. So I think something along that line, and just help people know more about it, and know that it's going to be a resource. That'd be awesome.
All right, perfect. Well, you all heard that. We are looking for marketing support, marketing help. And right off the top of my head, I know a couple of people that I'm going to be reaching out to and pinging and saying, hey, let's reach out to Danny. So thank you so much, Danny, again, for taking out the time
Thank you.
to connect with us and share with us. And if you all are looking to connect more with Danny, you can find him on LinkedIn. You can find him on We the Plug. We'll put the links to his sites down below. Again, Danny, thank you so much. Muchas gracias.
Thank you.
You all stay tuned for our next episode. We're in season 2. And just so you all know, we're also doing a Spanish version of the Cafecito. So we're really excited to ensure that our community and the community of our Latino brothers and sisters are also being able to access information and services as much as possible. So anyway, thank you all for watching. Have a great rest of your day.